Okay, so now we've brewed coffee, we've calibrated, we understand how to do all of that stuff. Now let's just talk about some routine care and cleaning that your operator and you are going to have to understand, like what to do. Touch to begin. I'm going to go into my hidden switch, and we're going to go to what we call our service access screen. And from here, we'll talk about the options that we have on here. And I'm going to just start at the top and work my way down. On the left-hand side, if you want to call in for service or you get called, you're going to ask them what the serial number is. We have the serial number on the touchscreen. We also have a data plate inside the machine, and then there's one on the back. It's not always easy to get to the one in the back. That's why we made sure that we have it on the touchscreen. All these little gray bars are for the bun link that I was talking about earlier, and that is our machine-to-machine. It's our digital solution for machine-to-machine communication. Once we install the board, we'll talk about this further, but that's where you'll go to see what your signal is and how it's looking. On the right-hand side, you can see that we have the software version. So we have a display, and we also have an I/O board. And so we have both versions of software printed on here so that you can see what they are. If you have to call in for service, we're probably going to ask you what version of software that you have, because there have been different enhancements at different levels of, why else would you revise software, right? So there are different rev levels, and we want to know which software you have in there. We recommend that you do keep your software current. About once a year, we'll send a new download out. We send them through service bulletins, and you can go right to the BUN Online Learning Center to access that. We'll have the link and all that stuff later on in the video. So on the screen again, on the left we have Care and Cleaning tab, we have an Active Notices tab, and then Advanced, which we already went through that on how to get into the programming. Down here we have the Advanced paper, we have a clean screen, and then we also have training materials. What this training materials is for your operators. Let's say that you have somebody new on site, it ran out of paper, they don't really know how to change the paper, they're not comfortable looking at just the decal. They can press the training material tab, and then you can see that there's a whole bunch of different options down here for what they want to look at. Well, they want to see how to load paper. They click on the loading paper button, and a video pops up. There's no audio with this, so if you're listening to it, you won't hear anything. Press the button, and it's going to run through and kind of show them what they need to do in order to load the video. We have product information on there. If you have to stop it for whatever reason, it's just like a video player, you just stop it. If you wanted to blow that up because you're like me and you can't see anymore, I need to get the part number, you can blow it up, do whatever you need to do, get it back to your normal size just by pressing right there. So there are 7 different videos available for the operator level. As far as technicians, behind that access key, we have even more videos for the technicians. They're a little more intense, more technical. We didn't really want the operators to learn how to field dress the, for instance, a valve. We don't want them doing that. You don't want them doing that. So anyway, so this is where the training stuff is available. You can see all of these different ones that are on here. We update them on occasion just to keep you up to speed and all that. So that's available to your customer. If you use the cashless device that we talked about earlier, there will be a third or a fourth button over here, and that's going to be called single dispense. And what that's for is if, for instance, it runs out of powder and they get a bad drink, they're going to either want their money back or they're going to want a free drink or something like that. So you would just push that button one time. It's going to ask for the code, which is spells BEND, B-E-N-D 3733, I think it is. And it will then allow them to dispense one drink. So that will be on there in its screen. But that's only if you're using a cashless device. Okay. The Active Notices tab is if, remember I told you the I bar down here, if something pops up and it said service needed, it's going to say Active Notices call service. That's where you may want them to go take a look at it just to tell you what it is. That way you'll have an idea before you drive all the way out there and try and see what's going on. So when you tab in there, it would normally tell you what is the cause of the alert. So let's just say tank heater on too long or won't fill, and it's going to tell you a suggested action here, like check the water, make sure water's turned on. So they're kind of generic or basic, but it might help them too. They can say, oh, let me just check. Oh yeah, we shut off the water for whatever reason. So that's available to them. You can download history as well if you want to. Care and Cleaning tab, click on that. Once a day, we ask you to rinse this machine. You can see it's got all the powders in there and the coffees and all that, so we just kind of need to keep it clean. These are traditionally they're just messy. There's heat and coffee grounds and powders and everything, so we want it to be rinsed daily. One of the options we have is if you're, say, you have people that are bilingual, they don't speak English, it's not their first language, they can click this button up here and either choose French or, well, that's Japanese. That's weird. We also have a Spanish version available, and that will change the text so that they can read what they're trying to read. Go back in there. So as you can see, we have a start button on here. We do provide a pitcher for you for doing the cleaning and the rinsing. This pitcher is going to fill up. It's going to stop the process and tell you when to empty it. And then that's why there's always a start button at the bottom. It's not automatic. We will never do an automatic rinse on this because it does need to be attended. This is not plumbed as a rule, so we just want to make sure that somebody doesn't hit rinse while somebody else is walking up to the machine. You want to be careful with it. So you would put your pitcher under there. It's going to walk you through step by step what you need to do. Press start, and it'll run you through it. So this is a daily thing. You have an option of setting it up for whatever time of day you want them to do it. There are several different options for the way that's going to show up on the screen. It's either going to just tell them that it needs to be rinsed, or it's going to have a lockout. The lockout, what that means is that every 24 hours it's going to have a rinse due. Once you get past a 2-hour grace period, it's going to lock them out, and they will not be able to sell any product at all until it's actually rinsed. So if you have a problem on the site where they won't do their cleaning or rinsing, I recommend trying that for a while, because that'll tell you right away whether or not they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. I know it sounds really mean, but it's going to save you a lot of work and hassle and trips. Okay, the clean one is really the same way, except that it is done once a week. And you're going to be able to set it up to whichever day of the week you want them to do it, and then whatever time of day you want them to do it. So it comes factory preset to kick on at 1 o'clock in the morning. That way somebody walks in the morning, the first person in, they can go ahead and do the cleaning, rinsing, be done with it, and the machine's ready for the rest of the day. But it'll walk them through step by step what they need to do. The clean cycle takes approximately 12 to 13 minutes. A rinse is about 9. So just so you can kind of plan your day around that. The weekly cleaning, we do expect you at some point to, remember I was talking about the whipper bowls, those need to come out too. So depending on how long it takes you to do all that stuff, that will determine how long the clean cycle lasts. Once you get started on the clean cycle, if you hit stop, it will say that it still needs to be cleaned, so you have to let it finish. You're not going to be able to cheat it. You can't unplug it and make the warning go away, because it's a little smarter than that, so you can't cheat it. But you don't have to do a lockout though. Okay, so that's all that information right there.